when you start, when you get young people fired up from the age of, well, kids always, when they're very young, every kid across the board loves to grab a crayon and draw. It's that emotive quality that we all have kind of ingrained as human beings. Something inside us we have to get out, and then that slowly gets kind of either discouraged or just lose interest, or you see people that are better than you, and that kind of discourages you or whatever. So if we can kind of get the kids fired up again about art and using it as a possible career, that would be great.
I think that art should be included as much as possible, but I feel that with a lot of government initiatives, you are limited as far as what you can say, with your art, with your work. So I usually don't even go out for that type of stuff because I feel like my work is too provocative.
Like I was saying earlier, when you have a government that's putting, like New Zealand, $175 million in arts recovery and $25 million in a separate creative New Zealand program, you're going to create sustainable work. Like City of Philadelphia, they have a mural arts program there that has mural miles in the South Philly, North Philly. And it's not just art for the sake of art, which is, for me, enough, but it's also economic. They're providing jobs, skill sets, opportunities for tourism. And I think that type of approach where people start taking art seriously, and just art for the sake of art and everything that it provides, is the only thing that's going to really create a cultural shift or change that will affect our generations and generations to come in a meaningful way. Because unfortunately, because of how high the cost of living is in Bermuda, it's going to have to be economically viable. You're going to have to create industries and markets.
I would like to see culture included in our national development plan through the schools, particularly through the schools and through any youth education program as much as possible.
I am already referred to as an artist, but whenever somebody says that are you still singing? Like, I don't walk into my dentist's office and be like, hey, are you still cleaning teeth? And like, are you still saving lives? I don't ask doctors that. Of course I'm still singing. That's who I am. That's what I am as a person. It'd be awesome to have a health plan that would make people readily want to join things that support them. So there's talk of unions and that sort of thing. That's fine. But if in the plan a group policy for health insurance could be put into place, that would make me the happiest little songwriter in the whole entire world. So I think within the national policy, if we had something that would support us, like a health plan that we paid into a group policy, because individual insurance is a mess. I know that we're the island of free insurance, but if we could just get insurance for the little person down to like functional, I would be excited about that.
A little bit more representation of the people themselves. I think when we tend to show ourselves to the world or whatever our idea of ourselves is, I think it's not as honest. I think it can be a little bit more truthful. I think it could be a little bit more transparent.
With this cultural policy, which is a gem, I'm certainly happy to see that it has now put into one space, in one place, what we need as a people, as a country, and that those who will read it and those who will implement it and those who will recognize its value will provide the funding and provide the appropriate space. It must not, at this stage, be piecemeal.
I think sort of when people look at the financial value of things, culture's often left out. So I think elevating that, seeing that there is great value in those things that are just, you only find here in Bermuda. You know, there's only one Sharon Wilson who's creating work, and she's creating portraits of Bermudians. You know, the Gombe's they're ours. You know, what may be happening in the Bahamas, it may be something similar, that dance culture, but the culture of what the Gombe's do here in Bermuda, that is ours. And there, I mean, that inherent culture, so to speak, has such a tremendous value, but I don't think it's financially valued that often. So I think just sort of how you do that, I think it would be giving a little more money to the arts and Department of Culture and Affairs, and so really putting your money where the mouth is, that if we really do value these things, which I think we should as a community, put some money in it. There's like a certain point in our lives, usually probably when we're like preteen or teenagers, that people start to say like, oh, I can't draw, I'm not creative. So there's a point that, I guess in our development, that we sort of get scared of that. You know, I'm not a very musical person, and but as a child, I was like, I'll give it a go, I'll try it. What is it that happened that stopped me doing that? And so I think what happens for a lot of Bermudians, especially if you come up here and you come through school here, and then you go maybe into a international finance job, yeah, you can't see the value of all that. So if that is kind of, if the importance of the arts is throughout your entire education, that has value for not just the artists, but you know, the underwriter who needs to think about things in a different way. Maybe they refer back to something they learned in a cultural or artistic setting.